Morning, everyone. Okay, as promised, today I want to talk about how approaching life as a creator rather than as a survivor can dramatically change your life. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, sickness, a failed relationship, your career, or even your business, how you approach life makes all the difference. So, as I mentioned the other day, this is about the difference between being a survivor versus being a creator. So let's compare the two. What does a typical survivor look like? Survivor, to me, is somebody full of self pity, often resentful, lacks vision, and they will take whatever life gives them. And because they are focused on the past, their future is like a self fulfilling prophecy. And a typical creator, on the other hand, well, they're typically focused on the now. They have a positive attitude, clear vision, they're energized, in love with life, they're grateful, and normally they're in harmony with the energy of the universe. So, comparing the two, I know which one I would rather be. Unfortunately, these days most of us are just surviving that, but we can do something about it. To begin, let's just explain some basics about our bodies and, importantly, our stress response. And I know you've heard me talk about this before, but in the context of survivor versus creator, we need to understand um, the importance of the stress response. And only then can we hope to become creators. So, homeostasis. This is when our bodies are in their optimal state, hormonally balanced, stress free, and it's what you could call our happy state. Stress. What is stress? Stress is actually what happens when we knock our bodies out of that balance hormonally. And then our stress response is what our bodies do naturally when they are out of balance, as it tries to return to homeostasis. We turn on our stress response when we react to our external environment. That is our fight or flight responses to threats, perceived or real. The problem, however, with this is that we are capable of turning this on by thought alone. You see, this is the problem. What was once an essential survival tool now works against us. Simply anticipating that a future event will be stressful, by pattern matching it to past experiences, can trigger our fight or flight. The same thing with reliving past traumatic experiences in our head. Our stress response was only ever, the fight or flight or freeze, was only ever meant to be a temporary reaction to help us survive a danger. If, however, we continually activate it as we either relive the past or anticipate our future, we can end up in a state of chronic stress. And eventually, this impacts our health as the constant shutting down of automatic functions by the autonomic nervous system, the alterations then, to blood pressure or blood sugar fluctuations, etc., eventually cause illness and disease. We are also affected mentally, as the overproduction of the same stress hormones cause us to feel emotions such as anger, fear, envy, and even hate, which eventually can result in anxiety, depression, sadness, aggression, and insecurity. And thanks to this great modern world we now live in, this unfortunately represents everyday living for too many of us. But what if there was another way? What if we could take back control and live the life of our dreams? After all, we see plenty of people happy and successful. So why can't we do it? We can. Well, we can once we are no longer observing these people from a survival state, from which we are only able to look on with resentment, envy, and even hatred. So the obvious first thing to do is to leave this unhealthy state. And to do this, we must unlearn survival and relearn creation, which is our normal state as human beings. To unlearn survival, we need to learn how to, first of all, to calm ourselves down so that we can return to homeostasis. Once we get there, we will begin again to have access to our thinking rational brain rather than the emotional brain, which controls us when we are stressed. We need to disable the emotional brain's control so that we can leave behind survival emotions, as with survival emotions, we can't create a new healthy way of living because, we're too busy being angry, full of fear, hate, resentment, or doubt. Instead, we want to replace these survival emotions with the elevated emotions of love, joy, and gratitude. Of course, to do that, we need to become self-aware of our own thoughts and feelings and learn to stop or modify any behaviors that keep us in the old survival state and obstruct us from reaching a new creative state. Then we need to focus on what our new life, our new way of being looks like. Who do we want to be? What do we want to do? How do we want to behave? What do we want to change about ourselves? As we get better at doing this, and as we spend more time focused on this rather than our old stressed out state of survival, our mind begins to rewire itself as it creates that new you. In this new way of thinking, it is no longer our emotional brain creating havoc, but instead it is now our thinking rational brain that is in control, as it shuts down the other parts of the brain and focuses single-mindedly on creating your new reality. From here, with practice, your thoughts and feelings become positive, your emotions are elevated. You feel happy, full of love, joy, and gratitude, as you just know that you are now in the process of creation, and therefore you trust the outcome, as it was your very own thought process that purposely created it. All that energy that you used to waste on pointless ruminating, stressing over what could have been, or living a life of fear, anxiety, doubt, and pain, is now instead being put to good use, creating a new, better, healthier you. Is it easy? No. But it is who we were meant to be. We all have one purpose in this life, and that is to be the best possible version of ourselves. So yeah, there you go. Survival or survivor versus creator. If you want to be a creator, take that next step. Start by calming the mind and focusing on who you want to be, what you want to change. And if you need any help, just reach out for a discovery call and I'm more than happy to help. Till the next time, cheers.